Hey y'all, it's Amanda and this is my Texas Zone 8 garden, and today we are running against the rain, fighting against the rain, but we're going to be working on this front curve garden as a major feature for fall colors in my front yard. Okay, so we are the front yard. This faces south. This guy faces south. Excuse me, I take that back. This faces north, and this front curve faces kind of northwest. And across the front of it is where I like to add a lot of beautiful color for each season. And you can kind of see the last of the fall color. This right here is a cherry chocolate hardy hibiscus that is just done for the season. There's no new blooms coming up. It's gotten eaten up by some of the grasshoppers, and it's starting to change some of its color foliage, which it typically does for fall right before it drops everything. We've also got a few remaining, some luscious marmalade lantana that has done really great this year, and I love its color, and that's this orange. And I've got a few over here, and I actually think that I'm going to end up leaving this for the time being. Now, across the front, I've got some really great profusion zinnias that are in just a riot of beautiful summer colors, and they're still in really good shape. They're not showing signs of currently slowing down, and they're not showing signs of powdery mildew. So I'm actually going to start this whole process by digging up these zinnias, and I'm going to move them to another location in my yard that kind of has a big hole. I don't want to get rid of them. They look great, but I've got a different plan for this section. So let's go ahead and get those moved. Okay, so I've got these profusion zinnias tucked in a few places here, and some of these plants still look really nice. And I just hate to get rid of them, just throw them away. So I would like to just pull them up. I'm just using a giant fork kind of deal tool. And I'm just coming in here about 3 to 4 inches away from the stem, and I'm just kind of lifting. And they're coming up pretty easily, just like that. Now, I don't actually transplant a lot of annuals. I just happen to have this kind of hole that I've been dealing with this summer, where these would actually fit perfectly. So it makes sense. It's an easy transition, and I don't have to buy anything for the fall for that particular area. And as I'm removing these, you can see how much color they really did bring to the space. Okay, so taking a look at this area, this is my Ruby Falls Weeping Red Bed right here. And early in the year, I had given a try to vincas over here, and some of them did well, some of them did not. I think they had too much water from what you all were telling me. And then I came back and I filled in with a bunch of profusion zinnias, which did beautifully right here. But over this area, I ended up having an armadillo who would come through and pull up the plants in just this section. And I think he was trying to get to my daffodil bulbs that were here. And that'll be real interesting to see what daffodil bulbs actually come up in the spring. But so what I wanted to do is, since I already have some doing really well right here, I've left these vincas just to kind of do their own thing. I think I'm going to fill in the rest of this space with more of these zinnias. Now I am going to add some flower tone to each of these as I'm planting. Okay, and I think that really goes a long way to fill in this space where there's kind of that big hole among the vinca. And these will continue to grow pretty much through the first, second week in November. Once we start to get cold, it really starts to suffer from powdery mildew and things like that. Yeah, that looks good. So that was a big hole right in there. There was nothing. There's this vinca and this vinca, and there's nothing in the center. So that looks really good. Filling that in, and now I don't need anything there for the fall. They look great. Okay, let's turn back to that front curve and let's get it cleaned up and prepped for planting. Okay, first things first. This is gonna look really harsh. We're gonna go ahead and cut this hibiscus down. It is not currently blooming. It's actually got some splits down low. It's time for it to move on. So basically I'm gonna cut it so that there's about 3 to 4 inches of stem poking out at the bottom, just so it's easier for me to see it next season. And I think it'll be fine. I mean, I'm not super worried. It was only gonna be up another month to 6 weeks anyway. And I actually think it might try to produce some more leaves, some more fresh branches from the ground. And this is a perennial, so it comes back from the base of the plant each year. Let me unhook some of this. Had a lot of issues with it being really brittle this year and just snapping in my spring storms. So this next year I intend on being far more diligent about getting it staked earlier on. Okay, look how much that clears the space. So now a couple of things. I'm going to come in here. I am going to trim back the lantana just a little bit because it's coming pretty far into the yard. It will come back, and I need to be able to get to this grass down here. Okay, and that'll be good. That'll allow me to clean up this front edge. I've also got this confetti lantana right here that I'm going to go ahead and cut back significantly as well, because I removed a lot of this in another portion of the yard, and I want to be able to reveal what's going on under here, which is some Shasta daisies that need to be trimmed up, and they actually got really covered by this lantana. So I really just want to see what's going on over here. Okay, sweet. So I'm mainly just going to come in here now. Cut out any dead, pull some weeds. Now, over here I have Shasta daisy that has seen better days. So we're just going to spend some time coming in here and getting some of the not good, so good looking stems. We might end up cutting a bunch of this. Okay, and of course we're starting to get rain, but let's get this cleaned up. So right along this edge is the edge of my garden and the lawn, and you can see when the plants overgrow that my lawn guys can't really get to everything. So I've got this little Ryobi tool. It comes with 2 attachments. One which is a longer one, which is more for hedge and bush trimming. This one does grass, and it's battery operated. So let me clean that up. And it's just great for little jobs like this. Especially when you don't want to get out your edger. Okay, so we're in between rain showers. So first thing I want to do is I've got it all cleaned up. I trimmed up the grass. So now what I want to do is come in and kind of place my pumpkin decor. so that I can basically put plants around it is going to be the goal. I think I'm going to do this one right around. I want it towards the front. I think I will do it a little bit towards the front here. So then I kind of layer them to add more depth to the space. Now, everything that we're going to be planting in the garden today, I grew from seed, which is so exciting. And it was really nice because it allowed me to actually put some money towards these metal pumpkin situations. And I got these metal pumpkins from Hobby Lobby, but you can get them lots of different places. I mean, they're not special in any way. They just happen to be the price range that I was looking for. And I figured that these will last several years and they'll probably deteriorate a little bit over time, which I actually think will end up looking really nice. But then also I can always go back and paint them different colors or turn them into jack-o'-lanterns or do lots of different stuff with them over time, which I think will be cool. So starting with plants, one of the first things we're going to do is I have ornamental millet. And what I want to do is tuck it into some different areas towards the back to kind of add a little bit of height. I've got 4 of these. And I am overlapping them in front of the pumpkin a little bit, but I think that just adds to the overall look. So let's start by planting those. I'm going to throw in a little bit of flower tone fertilizer with them. But let's get them all planted, and from there we'll start layering in the other plants. Okay, and I grew all the millet from seed. It was super easy, which makes me feel silly that I haven't done it in the past because these are typically about $12.99 for one when I pick them up at some of my favorite local nurseries. And so I'm super pleased with the price. I think maybe I paid like $5 to $6 for the seeds, and I ended up with really great germination, a really great germination rate. I'm going to put some of these over, and I ended up putting 3 in each one. Look at that root system, y'all. That's crazy. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. And I also think when I get this in here, I think I'm going to end up staking these as well. So I think I'm just going to put some of these stakes in here just to help keep these upright, especially we're going into October, which is when we get more of our storms in my area. So I definitely want to be supporting these during that time. And you can see that we're like putting the taller plants towards the back, and then we'll go medium, and then we'll go lower as we work forward. You obviously don't want to put the short plants towards the back because you can't really see them. I'm going to pull this up for a second while I try to get in this area. And some of y'all told me that once you start millet, once you grow millet, from there you can just collect the seeds, and I shouldn't have to buy millet seeds again, which would be amazing. And eventually these will have like these just really cool like feathery plume things at the top of it, which will be awesome. Okay, those look great, and they're going to continue growing up over time and really adding kind of like a fall vibe to that space. I really like how everything's layering in. So next, we're going to go through and we're going to add some coleus, and this is to tie back into the space over there. We're going to add some coleus right up against the pumpkin foundation, and then after that, we're going to come through with a bunch of petunias. So let's get that done. Now, I know that the coleus is going to partially obscure the pumpkin, but that's okay. we want the whole thing softened. I don't want these to be glaring. I want it to look, even though obviously it's not real, I want it to look like a pumpkin patch. Okay, that particular colus is Kong Lime Sprite. This next one I think is red. Let me see. I don't see a tag on it, but we're going to add this one. This one has a little bit more color to it. Okay, for this next part, I'm going to be layering in a whole bunch of petunias. Now, I've really noticed that my petunias have really started putting off less blooms. So I do think it's really important to get them in the ground ASAP. These petunias will last and probably till mid-November when we start getting our first freezes. And I grew all these from seed. This one I'm planting right now, I'll put a picture of the bloom up for y'all, is a double cascade blue. And I am going to mix in some different colors in this one. I want a lot of color over here. This next one I'm going to be tucking in is Easy Wave Burgundy Star. Put a picture of that up for y'all as well. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to tuck in some of these Valentine. I think it's double Valentine, not sure. Petunias from seed. I think it's a double Valentine. They're stunning. Absolutely beautiful blooms. They start off deep red when they bloom, and then they fade to pinks and whites, hence the Valentine name. I really, really like them. Okay, I also have some marigolds that have really been suffering from spider mites. I don't know, I really hesitate to put, some of them are fine. I thought about tucking a few of them in here. Okay, I'm gonna tuck just a few in. Having just a pop of the yellow color I think might be nice. This particular variety is called Mr. Majestic Double Marigold. Okay, I like it. So we've got petunias. Okay, first we placed our pumpkins, and then we went back with the ornamental millet, which is beautiful. And that should grow up in the next couple of weeks and put on some fun plumes. Then we carried in some colus and then petunias all the way across the front, and then ended with tucking in just a few marigolds. They have a little bit of a yellow maroon color blend, which is nice. So I also remember we kept the lantana, so I've got orange lantana poking up, got the purple Persian shield in the background. I definitely feel like the whole vibe definitely has like a fall vibe. And this is the view from the street. Looks nice. And then of course that ties in over here with the other pumpkin I had tucked in, which looks really nice. It's looking good. I feel like the petunias had a little bit of a hard time transitioning, and we are expecting some heat coming up this week. So I do need to make sure I'm watering them plenty so that they stay nice and saturated throughout the heat. All right, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, seeing me clean out this space. Basically cut back some perennials, including the hardy hibiscus, coming in and placing the metal pumpkins, and then of course coming back and layering in with all plants that I grew from seed, which is incredibly exciting. Pretty proud of myself. I really enjoyed being able to grow these from seed, especially during the hottest times of the year. Gave me something to do, something to enjoy, as opposed to being out in the triple degree temps. And of course I ended up saving a lot of money, but then I also got just so much joy from the process of actually growing them. So for me, it's even more of a savings in my mind instead of just, picking them up at the nursery, which is fine. I do that too, but it was really nice to do this. I feel very proud. I'm really interested to see what this is going to look like in a few weeks. Because, I grow from seeds, so these are not perfection. Like, these are not like perfect nursery plants pulled out of the greenhouse and, ready to sell. So these do still have to grow into their space, but I think it's going to look awesome. I hope you all are enjoying planning out your fall gardens, getting everything just beautifully situated. Our area is still having warm temps, and we don't have our first frost until typically the 3rd week in November. And even then, it tends to be very mild, and we continue to grow on through December. But I know a lot of my much more northern friends are already looking at cold temps and will be experiencing their first freezes coming up real soon. Even had someone comment the other day that she was expecting snow in the next couple of weeks, which is just like crazy to me. So, but I hope you guys are, those of y'all who are already done with your fall planting, you're enjoying watching all of us down south continue to plant in our gardens. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Every time you like and comment, it helps grow the channel so much. And if you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, just drop me an emoji below letting me know you made it to the end and that you say hi. And be sure to check me out on my social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. As always, she's a mad gardener or decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.